Vega, I finally got a chance to play Get Even, that weird game that only had this weird advertisement.
It had like one showing at a press conference like 2 years ago. I remember it specifically because it was on the PlayStation stage, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is this? This game looks like it's going to be amazing." And then it was complete silence, and then it was just like, "By the way, Get Even's coming out in like a month."
Yeah,
And
all of a sudden,
whoa, okay.
it is a unique game. I will give that. I'm not sure if it's the best game yet, but I am going to give it a pretty decent rating when I do the review. But yeah, there was a tech demo indicating how well it rendered a concrete building. I remember that from the tech demo. It's like, wow, this looks great. And for what it's worth, the level design is really good, but the game, it is out there. So Get Even stars you as Cole Black.
Okay, I like this. I like where this is going.
Your first memory is you run into this building and try to rescue a girl with a bomb strapped to her. I'm not going to get into too many spoilers because this is the kind of game that the less you know about it, the better going in. But the short version after this is that you realize you're actually replaying memories to try and solve a crime.
Oh, wow.
And it ends up
a little bit of murdered soul suspect in this.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's more like the movie Source Code. Did you see that with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes, where he was on that's the one where he's on the train.
And he kept getting sent back to the train. It's a lot like that. There's a ton of elements this game borrowed from, and that was it for... Yeah, in games like this, where you can tell it's going to be like either about memories or about dreams or anything, like you can tell there's going to be plot twists.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there's tons. Like, you keep learning more as you go in. And, man, does the game get interesting. So, what do you want to know about this game?
So it was a good call to say, let's give it a shot then, right?
It was. It's only $30. It's half price, and I think it was priced adequately for the game I got.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you wouldn't pay $60 for it?
I don't think so.
Why not?
It's a little on the short side, and the actual game part of it is kind of not great, but it deserves some more explanation. So, this game isn't committed to being one game.
Okay.
It's a tactical first-person shooter sometimes, or other times it's tactical stealth. It's also a horror game. It's also a puzzle game. It's kind of an adventure game. It takes many weird elements
in the way that it plays, or just like thematically.
In the way it rolls out. As you start exploring more of these memories, you learn about things about what your character did, the people he encountered. And when you're reviewing these memories, there's like some rules that you can abide, but you don't have to abide by these rules. So, sometimes mercenaries will show up in the memory you are in, and if you kill too many, it messes up the memory. Then that's a mechanic. So you either have to try and say, I'll just deal with it and kill them all, because you can do that, or you have to be tactical and stealthy. There's also this bit where you're in an asylum. And it gets very horror territory whenever you're in the asylum part. And you go all over the place, and everything you read, everything you touch, everything you look at gets saved in another location where it shows you like this big... what do you call those boards? So, an investigation chart. Yeah, you get these investigation charts for every level, and all the stuff you found and read gets saved there. And the end of the game is just to solve who was responsible for what for this bomb.
Oh, wow.
And that's why that was, they did delay it a month because of the Manchester bombings. Prayers go out for all of that. They did, and I think that was a good move because it all is centered around this...
this bomb.
Yes, this bomb that goes off and this kidnapping. And there's,
yes.
Oh boy.
Is the game a bomb? Or is the game the bomb?
It's like all the gameplay elements, because again it forces you to play a ton of different kinds of games. But overall, they all work. None of them are great. So the gameplay is actually its worst feature. It's functional. It's not bad. I think they just suffered from trying to do too many things at once. You can play through this whole game entirely as an FPS if you want to. But the game,
a la Deus Ex.
but the game may turn out differently if you do that, because there are certain things that affect other things in other memories as you go further and further, and the game is mentally testing you. It's going like, you gonna kill these people? You gonna not kill these people? What about the asylum? Are you gonna kill some people there? And
Wow.
it like tells you,
So
it shows
brings you into some moral gray areas.
Yes. What I liked about it a lot, though, was there is a bit towards the end, and I won't spoil anything that happens, but the last game I saw that actually showed that your actions had consequences was The Walking Dead Season 1.
How dare you? I was going to say Life is Strange.
Well, that one, too. That one has a lot of that, too. This one...
I mean, Life is Strange, you can literally miss sections of the game. Like, it's one of the few games where you can still finish the game and not have played every part of the game.
The game does a real good version of giving you a report card towards the end of the game. I'll put it that way. Like, certain decisions you made and other decisions you didn't make, or whatever you ended up doing, the game towards the end shows you that. It actually practically grades you on it. I was there going, oh man, that too? Except instead of being a long game, this is a 9 to 10 hour game.
Yeah.
About.
That's
it
a long game as far as I'm concerned. Like, that is plenty of time.
Actually.
I mean, if you think about it, and this is always my argument on the length of games, right? Like, if you pay $60 for a game and you get 6 hours out of this game, that's $10 an hour. If you go watch a movie and you pay $15 or $10 for your movie ticket, that's $5 an hour. And that's non-interactive. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're in the right ballpark with this. You know, like an interactive experience costs you $60. As long as you're getting 6 hours of gameplay minimum, you're in the right field. If you're getting less than 6 hours, then it's not working out. You know what I mean? But tell me more about Get Even, because one of the biggest things that I liked about the one trailer that I saw for Get Even was like I don't know, it had this feel that it had a really great story to tell. And you've kind of covered that already.
It did. It takes from a lot of different sci-fi tropes and movies. You'll see it in there. You'll see a little bit of Inception in there. And there's a lot of details, and that's what was good about this, because audio-wise and graphics-wise, this game is very detailed. Let's start with graphics. The graphics are really good, and all the environments you end up in are very well designed. In an age full of all these open world games that are starting to get more and more nondescript as you do it, I can't tell the difference between Just Cause 3 and Ghost Recon Wildlands. I really can't. Visually, you look at this and you go, well, this could be either game. This one has some very detailed, tight-knit environments, and that's now becoming a rarity, so I appreciated that. But the audio came in too, and it's not that the songs were any good, it's what the OST did, and there's a lot of like glitchiness in everything you hear. Audio cues sound different. The music kind of ramps up in stealth sections where it gets louder and louder and louder the closer you get to someone. And it'll start playing songs that have very odd time signatures. It'll start playing slower versions of songs you've heard earlier. A person in-game will be humming a song that you heard somewhere else. Sometimes two songs will be playing simultaneously, depending on what you're standing, and they do this on purpose. Like, so, this was not a bug.
This game is really trying to break your psyche, is what it's doing.
Absolutely, 100%. By graphics and by audio, this is messing around with you a lot. There's times where you can, like, hear yourself breathing really loud, like, over everything, and then it just, eventually changes.
Oh, man.
And it's pretty good. I think I liked where they stuck the landing. It actually is kind of like a lot of other games in that the ending, you do end up with one choice towards the end. It's either this choice or that choice, but I really don't feel like that ruins a game. Like, because again, you get all these choices reflected throughout the game. So what if one game ends with the one choice? You had so many choices before that.
Yeah. I guess people complain about that because you don't want to go through an entire game that had tons and tons of choices and then find out that at the end of it all, you have the same choices that everybody else had.
Well, there is going to be one truth to discover when you do finish the game. And to be fair, I think one of the choices just ends the game earlier, to be honest. I didn't go with it, but that's it. So it was definitely an emotional journey, impactful in another way. It's very psychedelic. It is very much a challenge on you as a player. You can feel the game kind of judging you in every decision you make, and even the achievements. The achievements are all not like gimmies. There's stuff where, unless you look them up ahead of time,
you're not really going to come across
You're not really going to come across them as much. It's more about figuring out clever things before you do something. I shot someone in a room because I had a suspicion that someone was going to come after me, and I got an achievement for that. That's as non-specific as I'm going to get, but because I thought of something that the game did not directly tell me, I got an achievement.
That's pretty solid. So, I guess as we start wrapping up, what are your final thoughts on it?
I enjoyed the experience a lot, but it's not for everyone. And the dramatic changes in gameplay styles might get some people they might put off some people because...
when you say dramatic gameplay changes, are we talking dramatic gameplay changes like Azura's Wrath?
I didn't play Azura's Wrath.
Oh my god, alright.
But like I said,
I can't think of another game besides Azura's Wrath that had because Azura's Wrath had such dramatic gameplay changes. Literally there were 7 control schemes for this game.
I played other games that give you a lot of gameplay choices. This is the only one that's tried to marry as many different types of gameplay as possible in this kind of environment. This is the most I've ever seen. And for some people that's going to be rough because, again, sometimes it wants to be a horror game and then other times it doesn't. And that's going to keep some people away, but the experience was so unique. I liked it, and it's a Game of the Year contender for me.
Well, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe to Hard Mode Gamers. Again, I'm Vega. We just heard from Senor Chet, his experience with Get Even. If you want to know a little bit more about what he felt about the game, just head on over to hardmodegamers.com. The full review will be up.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and
stay frosty.
Stay frosty.